one night we were around the campfire, and I kid you not, we were literally, in all truth, we were singing Kumbaya. Yes, we were. And so, we got our arms around each other and we're swaying and Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. So we're doing this. And our pastor, again, he knew nothing about deliverance. He knew as much as we knew. He walked across the circle that was around the campfire. And this woman that I described, she was there. There was always something unusual about her. She had this very dark look to her face, almost like she'd been smeared with ash. There was a distant kind of gaze in her eyes. Many times, if you looked in her eyes, it was like they were a bottomless pit of blackness. And she would periodically just spontaneously vocalize profanities and blasphemy and other things. People kind of wondered, but again, we didn't have any context, and this was a church that just didn't have any background with this. And I mean, I didn't have anything, and we didn't do this in the Wesleyan tradition, and our pastor knew nothing. So we're just, here we are. He walks across the circle and he puts his hands on her head and he said her name. And then he said, "Can you say Jesus is Lord?" And she went berserk. She threw him back through the air and he landed in the fire. And 4 people jumped on her, taking her to the ground. And there was one woman in our group who had moved out from Chicago. And from memory, she might have been 25, 27 at the time. She sits on this woman's chest. So we have one on each limb. And then this social worker from Chicago sitting on the woman's chest. And this woman is blaspheming. It's like a volcano's erupting. She's blaspheming. She's cursing. I mean, it's insanity. Several people grab the pastor, pull him out of the fire. They're throwing coats on him. And, fortunately, he wasn't harmed. But I mean, and in those days, nobody even had cell phones, right? This is ancient technology. So somebody ran back to the entrance of the campground and called her parents on the payphone and said, "Something's happened. You need to come get your daughter. We don't know what to do with her." And so it's a several-hour drive from LA up to that area. And in the middle of the night, the parents arrived and they took her away, and we never saw her again. And I mean, I didn't have language for what it was, but I thought to myself at that time, I never, ever, ever want to see that happen again to anybody. And that was always in the back of my mind. And it kind of fueled some of that inquiry I had going with God about, okay, why do I not see this going on in the church? And so when I started to see breakthrough and started to see success in deliverance ministry, it was like, it was payback time. The devil had won that one, and the Christians had lost that one. That was a match, not a war. But since then, I've seen the Lord be so gracious to set so many people free